Hey everyone, it's Eric with Refined Rides Detail. This morning we've got a very special car in the shop today, a 1983 Porsche 911 Turbo in for a paint correction and ceramic coating. We've been selling a bunch of these lately. It's been a recent customer favorite. Today I'll be showing you guys the process of doing this whole paint correction and ceramic coating from start to finish, just so you guys have an idea of exactly what gets done to your vehicle when you are purchasing this service. So this car came into the shop pretty clean. It's not super dirty, but we obviously need to wash it before we do anything else to this car. Get all of that loose dirt, bugs, everything else that's easy to come off of the paint, wheels, and everything like that. So that's the first step. We gotta get it washed. We'll pull it outside and get that done really quick. All right, and now that the car is washed, we got all of the loose dirt off of the paint. Now it's time to take that one step further and remove all of the dirt that's in the paint that we necessarily can't see. All of the dirt that's been embedded into the paint after years of use. It's very important for us to get this as clean as possible before we start polishing the paint. We don't want to be rubbing any other dirt back into the paint. That will just cause more scratches, and the goal with polishing is to remove scratches. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is take one of these clay bars. We're just going to rub this on the paint with some lubrication. It's going to pull out all the dirt that we don't see, and we'll repeat that on the entire vehicle. So I'll do this side of the vehicle here, and we'll see what we can pull out from the paint. Okay, so we finished this side here, and we didn't pull out a whole lot of dirt, but we were able to get some. I'll show you guys here. If you take a close look, you can see some dirt inside of that clay bar. My guess is that the owner of this vehicle has recently clayed the paint, because it really felt pretty smooth to begin with, but we are pulling out some dirt, which is good. It doesn't hurt to do this again before we start polishing. Kind of gives us some peace of mind that it was at least done before we start polishing the paint. So I'm gonna get this done on the rest of the vehicle, and then we'll move on to polishing. All right, so now that we've got the paint clean and decontaminated, it is now time for machine polishing. And machine polishing is very important for two main reasons. The first one being machine polishing will actually remove scratches in the paint, those minor scratches in the paint. And the reason why we want to do that now is because once we put the ceramic coating on, we are sealing that finish in for years and possibly even the life of the vehicle if it's taken care of properly. So we want to remove as many of those scratches as we can now before we seal that in for the long term. And the second main reason is because a ceramic coating will always bond better and last longer on a fresh layer of clear coat. The machine polishing will remove that very top layer of clear coat. We're talking about thousandths of an inch, and give that coating a nice clean slate to bond to, again making it last longer, giving the customer more value for their money. So this is a very important step that shouldn't be skipped. And I'm gonna do this little hood here, show you guys some before and afters, and then we will get on with the rest of the vehicle. Alrighty, I just finished with the paint correction. Really brought out a nice deep shine on this green paint. Took out a good majority of those scratches while we were doing the paint correction and machine polishing. And now all we have to do is go over it, wipe it down with a surface prep solution. That's gonna remove any of the oils or residues that the polishing may have left behind. The reason why we do that is because we don't want anything else coming in between the coating and the paint. We've kind of noticed this reoccurring theme of trying to get the paint as clean as possible before we put the coating on there, and we're following those same principles here with this step. So we're almost there. Gonna wipe it down one more time, then we can put the coating on. All right, so now after a full day of preparation, we are finally ready to install the ceramic coating onto this paint. And with a project like this, it's always important to not skip your preparation steps. Those are all very important to make sure that the paint not only looks the best, but the ceramic coating will perform the best in the long run. So make sure you want to wash it, you want to decontaminate it, you want to use a clay bar on the paint, you want to do your machine polishing, and then you can't forget the surface prep at the very end to make sure you remove all of those polishing oils and residues, things like that. So that being said, we are all good to go and install this ceramic coating on the paint. I figured I'd start off on the hood right here, show you guys how it gets done, how it gets laid onto the paint before we move on to the rest of the vehicle. So let's get to it. So to actually get the coating onto the paint, we are going to apply this by hand here with this little applicator, and the coating comes in these little bottles, and we're going to just simply wipe it on. We will let the coating flash and bond to the paint, and then we will wipe the excess off with our leftover towels over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and I'll show you guys how it's done. Okay, so I did a small section on this hood here. You can see where I installed the coating. It's actually very streaky. It kind of has that hazy look. That's because the coating is doing its chemical reaction, bonding to the paint. And we let that sit for just a few minutes. That way it can stick to the paint, harden up before we level the rest of it. But yeah, I'll show you guys. That's the uncoated side. Here's the coated side, so that should be ready in a minute or two. And then we will wipe off all of the excess product. All right, now the product is giving me a visual indicator that it's ready to be leveled with a towel. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take a nice clean new towel here. Wipe up all of this product. Soak up all the stuff that did not actually bond to the paint. Okay, and after the second pass with the towel, all we have to do before we move on to the next section is kind of give it the feel test. You obviously can't tell on camera, but the paint that has been ceramic coated will be super silky smooth, super slick to the touch, and anything that hasn't been ceramic coated is not going to be slick at all. It's a night and day difference, you can definitely tell. And so that is about it for that section. I'm going to go ahead and repeat that on the rest of the vehicle, and I will show you guys the final results when we're all finished up. Alright, so that's about it for today. That's the process of installing a ceramic coating on a vehicle. It's pretty much the same on any vehicle. It does vary a little bit depending on the condition that the paint is in when it arrives to the shop. But for the most part, that's about it. Hopefully this answered any questions that you guys may have had, in case you are wondering, exactly what it is that you're paying for when you get this type of service. It's much more than just wiping something on the vehicle and sending it out the shop and charging you $1,000 for it. It's definitely a multi-step process that takes a minimum of 1 day to apply on the vehicle. So anyways, thanks for sticking around, watching the video, and if you guys have any other questions, don't hesitate to call me at my cell phone number. I will have that listed on the screen and in the description. You can also stop by my shop out in Terrace Heights. I have a shop here. You can bring the vehicle by, we can go over it together if you have any questions for me, and I'm more than happy to help you guys out. So thanks again for watching the video, and I'm out.